Hello, I'm Nathan. I'm currently a postgraduate student of journalism at Humber College. I've recently traveled to one of the coldest places in the world, Canada. And in this podcast, I'm going to talk about homeless groups living in Canada. What comes first in your head when you listen the word homeless? I don't know what you think, but the first thing that comes in my mind is, are they positive from COVID 19? That's kind of obvious as we live in this pandemic. When this pandemic advanced, we all went through difficult times, but how difficult it would be for the people living on the streets. On January 15, I came to Canada. Throughout my whole journey, I had a weird feeling which I never felt before. I was nervous about getting infected, going to a new country. And by the way, this was my first time sitting in an airplane, so I was nervous about that too. Battling all my anxieties and my so called weird feelings for more than 18 hours, the wheels finally touched the runway. Of course, I was excited. My flight landed at 7:30 in the morning at Pearson Airport. And on the ninth day of my quarantine, I got a phone call from my college saying that before I get off my quarantine, I have to get done a COVID 19 test. And a taxi will come to pick me up next morning. And that made me super excited, as I will be going out for the first time since I came to Canada. On the next day, the driver came and picked me up. He was very talkative. That was him. The way to my college was through the downtown. I never saw such tall buildings in my life, only in movies and pictures, but in real life, never. But I noticed something strange. I saw a tall man. He stand out of the people walking on the street. He was a white man but looked very dirty and seems like he didn't had shower for days. Putting on rugged clothes and holding a poster. I'm not sure what was written on it as my car was moving, but that was the first time I noticed that even in developed countries there are people like him. That man was playing in my head for days. It prompted me many questions, and to find the answers to those questions, I started hunting where I can talk with some homeless people. So I scanned the articles on the home and did some research on homeless people living in Canada. And the only place that stood out to me was Moss Park. Before going there, I saw the reviews of it on the Google Maps. So I prepared myself accordingly. But when I went there, trust me, all my preparation I made was like nothing. The Moss Park is located in downtown, in middle of the buildings. It was cold and silent with no traffic and not a single person was walking on the street. I was little nervous and was asking myself, am I supposed to be here? I had a stereotype before I came to Moss Park that homeless people are not dangerous. They are open to talk, but it broke on that day. I saw there are crazy people breaking chairs, screaming, shouting, and whatnot. They are totally unapproachable. I'm sorry, but it scared the shit out of me. However, I tried to approach some, but they told me that don't waste my time. I felt like I was a kid in the club, wandering around. However, there was a lady. She didn't tell me her name, but she was a homeless. She didn't want it to interviewed. So she gave me an address to another place where I can get someone to talk. At this place, I met a man named Bobby, homeless from last 8 years, living with his friends, sharing the same tent.
And this is my friends. Not him, but my friends are here right now. It's homeless still for a long time.
He shared that shelter homes is not a place where he can live because of different rules and restrictions.
But you have to obey by the rules.
So, what kind of rules are there?
Be home on time. You can't have like a drink because you have addictions. Like you need to drink to go to sleep. Or like most of these homeless people have addictions, but when they get looked at and being bossed around and they can't do it, so you have to do it sneaky. And when they get caught, and they're like, "Oh, why are you bothering me? Like I'm trying to do my fix," and like that's when they lose their mind.
Because of
to go back on the street.
Yeah.
So that's why you're back on the street.
Yeah.
Although on the streets, the life is not easy.
It's really hard and rough and a lot of days.
What do you mean by hard?
Like sometimes it's so quiet and there's no fix, and by the time you need some food to eat, there's no food.
Bobby acknowledged that he also have addiction problems.
The substances as well?
It's like alcohol and marijuana and all kinds of drugs. Not all kinds, but just regular drugs.
Which one?
Like heroin, and crack cocaine, crystal meth.
To understand this chaotic situation, I emailed Kathy Crow, a faculty member of Ryerson University. She's also an expert on homelessness. The email was like this: I'm writing this email to you to arrange a short virtual interview via Skype, Zoom, FaceTime, or phone call, however you like it. My name is Nathan Christian, and I'm a journalism student from Humber College. As a part of my final project, I am making a podcast portraying homeless people living in Toronto and their lives difficult by COVID. I understand you are an expert in this field. I'm hoping we can discuss more of this topic with you. My phone number is 647-674-9877. If you have some time to talk with me, please provide me a phone number to call you. I have deadline, blah blah blah. Let me know soon. I'm looking forward to speak to you. Thank you. Regards, Nathan Christian. But after some days, she replied, sorry, Nathan, I cannot do it. I also emailed another expert named Arshi Sheikh, a faculty member of Waterloo University, an expert on homelessness. And she replied me, thank you, Nathan, for introducing yourself, your academic work, and the purpose for approaching me. I appreciate your aspirations to create a podcast about the situation faced by homeless people amid COVID-19 in Canada as a final project in your work course at Humber College. Unfortunately, I am unable to participate in your final project at this point in time. I hope you will find another expert who will discuss these issues and facilitate the process of completion of your final project. I wish you very well for your academic journey and post-academic journey into the world of journalism. Best wishes, Arshi. I also emailed other 4 experts who can talk with me, but till this time I didn't heard from them. So I took another step of faith to call to the 3 homeless shelter homes in Toronto. I'd rather not take their names in this podcast as they refuse to comment on it. I was sad and discouraged by this. However, there are a group of people reaching out for homeless people, those who are in need.
We are out of street patrol. We are a group of 8 people, and we all have bagged lunches and clothing and other supply, and we also have a van with soup and also more clothing. Well, we saw the need from homeless people that they don't have enough food, don't have enough to drink or clothing. And we make a project every year. I'm from a church, St. Patrick's, and we couldn't do it this year because of the COVID precautions. So we thought we go out to the people, and normally they come to us, around 100 every Sunday. But we wanted to go out and show that we are still there, and we hope that they come back next year or in 2 years.
So you do this every Sunday?
We do this every Sunday, yes.
How do you feel after doing all these things?
Well, on one hand, you feel pretty good because you know that you went out there, did something good for the society, for other people. But on the other hand, you always think this is a giant work. You cannot be alone to do something against it. And we are just like small people who try to do something in the big world kind of thing. So you try to find ways to find also political voices and to get all this out.